Good day, everybody. My name is Ojile Olawale, popular known as Chief Wales in the Nigerian chess community. And today we're bringing up a very, very wonderful personnel, a legend when it comes to chess in not only in South Africa, but in Africa in general and in the world because he has loads and load of experience over there. He's an international master, rights, and a very, very formidable player, very well respected in the whole African community. And if you don't know about him, I can guarantee you you're not a chess player. Probably you're just still playing in your village or in your neighborhood. But once you go out there, when you hear international master Watu Kobese, you should know that you are talking to one of the legends of chess in Africa in general. Please give it up for our wonderful guest, international master Watu Kobese, all the way from South Africa, joining us, and we'll be sharing a wonderful topic that we've laid down about African chess and the power of collaboration. Good day, sir, international master Watu Kobese. How you doing, sir?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm doing very well.
yeah, we could see. Don't mind me. We'll be having some wonderful questions for you. I'm so sure. Of course, no question was sent to you, but trust me, there's a walk in the park, just easy peasy, just like meeting one moves. Okay. First of all, let's start with. Can you share with us how you first discovered chess and what drew you to the game as a child growing up in South Africa?
Well, my father used to play with his friends because I was born in 1973, and that time frame would have been around 1977. So they started, of course, by following the Fischer Spassky match. It was in 1972, and that match had caught everyone's, imagination. And subsequently, they started forming some chess clubs around Soweto. And so, yeah, in preparation for tournaments, they would play in each other's houses. Once it would be in this one's house, that one. So I got to see them because whenever they would come home, I would obviously be fascinated and just go and watch them play. But I was watching, I don't know. Well, I cannot remember that, but I guess I must have been watching some intensity because at some point my father decided to teach me, and that was that. And I never looked back.
Wow, that was a great one. Very, very great one. Um, Thanks to that, and thanks for the words fast kids match. We go further to say, to you, what do you think are the biggest challenges you faced as a young African chess player, and how did those experiences shape your outlook on life and chess?
Well, look, I was that time. I was born right in the middle of apartheid. I grew up in apartheid South Africa. So, as an African, you obviously caught on the, shall we say, the wrong side of apartheid. So it was clear to me, from an early age, obviously, that the world is not, what do we call it? I mean, that, look, there are differences. Let's put it that way. I noticed. And, but of course, when you are young, you think that, okay, this is the way it is supposed to be. And I remember in some events, you meet some players who will not want to wish to shake your hand, and this and that. For me, it was always sort of propelling me forward, because from the word go, I was able to actually, because remember, I started playing against adults, so I was able to handle the juniors, who were white, and but also not only juniors, also some senior players. So I knew from a very young age that, okay, I mean, I'm able to play against everybody. And but you could feel it, going to neighborhoods that were completely segregated. and also driving in and driving out at night. Many times we were stopped by police, and I could remember, the police were always harassing my father and this and that, and because they wanted to discourage, of course, cut off sections of the community where they were only having white people in that area. So yeah, it brings back many joys like that, and it was an early baptism of fire. And I'm not gonna go far, but that was that. But everywhere you go, I mean, even later on in life, when I was playing internationally, much later in Europe, was more or less still the same experience. Maybe not physically, but mentally, you could still feel this pressure that anyone would feel the pressure anytime you go to Europe, or at least an area which is heavily populated by Europeans.
Wow, that's so wow. So your outlook on life after those experiences, and how did it affect your chess in any way?
Look, this is in retrospect. I mean, that's a very difficult question to answer, because I can only answer it in retrospect. Um, well, I think my outlook in life was mainly completely shaped by going to Europe, and I will explain why. Well, South Africa was segregated and there was apartheid, but got to know that, okay, look, in South Africa, this is how this is. We've had people coming over South Africa, had numerous battles and wars. We lost more wars than we won. And hence, we were sort of taken over. And but in a way, it will sound strange, but it's we you get to you we got to hear sort of the sort of the propaganda, I would say, from liberation movements outside the country. And they were always talking about international solidarity. You got the feel, well, at least as a young person, I got the feel that, okay, the the international community is supporting us, as an oppressed people in South Africa, right? um so when I went to Europe, the outlook changed, because I started to understand that it's a it varies in different degrees. But this pressure that you as a black person will feel in a country dominated by white people will always be there. It's a it is that is reality. So my outlook changed when I got to Europe. That's when um I started to understand. And the interesting thing about it, by the way, as I say, it's a very, very loaded question. My answer is going to be, but okay, this is the answer. In South Africa, even our history that we learned in South Africa is obviously completely turned upside down. And a lot of lying went into the history books, because they were trying to justify why they were taking over the country. So they were coming up with crazy theories like, we are from the central of Africa, we went down. No, I mean, they arrived in, let's say, 1652, the white population, more or less, from then on. But, the problem is that when you don't know the real history, it messes around with your outlook and how you find yourself in the world. You feel a specific way, and in many cases you start to feel small. When, for me, a liberation movement or process was learning real history, to try and find out, for example, that in South Africa, let's take South Africa for an example, there was sort of Mapungubwe. Mapungubwe was a city, a big city, like a community that was maybe from around 900 to 1,200 to 1,200. So this is basically good 400 years before the white guys came. And in Mapunguve, the guys, the South Africans were there, were already melting gold, making sculptures, trading with Arabs and Chinese. And we were not only Mapunguve, but there were also some Tswana cities. And then we learn, about the Zimbabwe ruins next to us and so on. So, and of course, then you start to learn, for example, your history about the Kingdom of Benin and the wall around Benin that is actually bigger than the Chinese wall. But all this was hidden from us. It was not there. So it obviously impacts as well on your chest, because in a certain way, without you realizing it, the falsities and the lies in the history make you think that actually you are a second-class citizen. This is maybe a lot of the problem that we're having in Africa is we don't have proper education. If you look at many of our African youth, and if you were to honestly talk to them, will think that they are second class. They will think that they are inferior to the European because the proper history is not there. Unfortunately, I think that our politicians have not done a good job to pass this history down to the youth. So yeah, but it is what it is. It sounds like a very politicized answer, but if you are in a black body in this world, you unfortunately are in a politicized space. No, that is what it is.
Wow, that's really, really rich. We actually need to go back there to understand our histories if we actually want to go forward one way or the other. And it will all definitely affect how we look at the world at one point or the other. Ignorance is not an excuse. We just have to know. Okay, let's go forward. How would you describe the current state of chess in Africa? One more thing, where have you seen the most progress? So far, so good.
The current state of Africa in chess is complete shambles. I'm sorry to say, we are in complete disarray. We are complete shambles from Cape to, well, I would not say to Cairo this time, but from Cape, definitely, if I cut out the part that has been annexed by the Arabs, will say, I don't know, to Sudan, should I say? But the point is that problem we're having in chess in Africa is a problem that needs to be addressed. The problem that we're having is that all the federations in Africa, and I mean all, leaders of the federation are not in the position to support chess in the country. We have individuals who are in these positions to self-enrich, self-propel forward. They want to go into these positions of FIDE. Know that whenever there are FIDE elections, there are envelopes flying around. The vote is going. No, it is reality. It is reality. It is sad, but it is reality. They want to be bribed. Waiting like this, you see. They know that they will be bribed, they will be paid to vote in a specific manner. So basically, the problem, you see, FIDE sees Africa, and that is the reality of the matter. FIDE looks at Africa with racist, infested eyes, I will call it. This we should not also run away from. The problem is that we have to, at the end of the day, confront and call a spade a spade. We cannot be tiptoeing around these things. There is no time for this. FIDE does not see Africa as a partner. FIDE only sees Africa as a voting bloc. Whoever comes into FIDE, they see Africa as a bloc where I need to get votes. Me, if I want to be president of FIDE or such. And Africa is not moving forward because have people there who don't fight. You can ask for the minutes. You can ask the Nigerian person who goes to the FIDE meetings and say, where are the minutes? Where have you fought for Africa? have you take right? Where have you in the meeting said regulations are unfair for Africa? So, before, when we used to play in the African Individual Championship, okay, used to the first one was in Egypt. It was in 2001. Was an African Individual Championship first time 1998. It was there, but that one was not a real one because not all the players, not all the countries were there. The first one where there was representation, I would say, was 2001. It was in Cairo, in Egypt. And this one was such that, it was affordable. Went there, you were paying only for accommodation. They've changed it completely now, and this came with regulations that were passed in Europe. According to the European Championship, the African delegations never protested when the same problems, or rather the same regulations, were passed down to Africa. Right now, the African individual is one of the most expensive you can play. You have to pay for your flight, you have to pay for your room. They don't allow you to to stay anywhere else except the official room. There's a rule for that. I will come to it why it's like that. You stay, number one, your flight. Number two, the official residence or room you have to stay in, official place, they charge in dollars. Next, you must pay the fee, not your country. That comes to you on your shoulders. The fee. You must pay the entry fee. These are prices. I have the prices, sir, to pay in dollars. At the end of the day, you are sitting on a bill that is a crazy bill before you even push the first pawn. The interesting thing is that no country in Africa can afford this. The only country I know maybe that supports their players is Angola. Angola, yes, they will support their players maybe to go to these events, but no other country I know will support their players. Everyone must make do. You must pay from your pocket, or you must find sponsorship. You must, okay, I'm not counting the Arab countries. The Arab countries, they support their players, yeah. So what I'm saying is that this situation, the delegates in Africa, I know, say, if you are a delegate from Nigeria and you know that you don't have sponsorship for Nigerian players, would you not find it strange that they should pay this amount, play in the African individual? Would you not protest the FIDE African meetings? Would you not raise the issue? The answer is yes, you would. You can. But they don't raise it. Not one of them. No one from South Africa, no one from Nigeria, no one from anywhere raises, as a delegate, raises these issues. They know specifically that they don't support the players. Now we have a shambles of an African individual every time it is played. Last time that was the one that was played now, which was won by the Algerian Pelachen, yeah? Grandmaster Pelachen won one now in Egypt, right? Yeah, where something like, I mean, if I counted the countries, did someone play from Nigeria play? Don't think so. Don't think anybody from Nigeria played. Yeah, I don't think anybody from I'm counting if countries Zimbabwe played. No one from Zimbabwe played. No one from Zambia. One player played. But you understand, this situation has to be. We need to talk about the situation, because who is the African individual for? By the way, when I go back now to saying, I was going to say why. No. I have no friends. Don't you worry about me. Don't feel any. I have no friends. I've got no friends anywhere. No friends in my federation. No friends, and I don't want them. I tell the truth. See, the point is that why people pay the official hotels in dollars is because the organizers, they want to make money for themselves on the side. They make deals with hotels. They actually, I call it stealing. They steal money from the players' pockets. From the poorest of the players, they steal the money. This is what is happening. So now, when such a situation is happening in Africa, what are we talking about? What is the first step we're talking about? So this is the problem. The problem is that us as Africans is that we like to look past all these points. As long as I can make a plan for myself, I don't care. But it is a wrong attitude. Because if we have this attitude, it means that we may have someone who is strong enough to become world champion. If they are not in the right position, if they are not in the right party, if they are not in the right quota, if they don't have the right accommodation, then they can never be. This is the problem. See, this is the problem, and we need to address it there at that level. We need to tackle it. We need not to be afraid of it. We need to tackle it. Only then can we talk then about further moving the African chess. At the moment, African chess is dead. Dead. The only thing that is happening is the delegates jumping around and going to the yeah. You say, if I asked you how many, yes, it's the truth. I asked you how many players from Nigeria played in the thing. Not one. And there is the FIDE thing and the FIDE Congress. Oh, you will say how many are not here? How many delegates are not here? We'll all be there. Of them with their briefcases and their laptops and whatever. They'll all be there. All the countries in Africa will be represented. Where is this money from? Where did you understand? So yeah, this is the situation.
Well, you've actually said so much with that little in that little time frame. Now that we have this problem that you are highlighting right now, is there? Do you have any solutions? Because I'm a kind of person that once there is a problem, I can identify the problem. Now, what is the solution that I can prefer to that problem? Do you have a solution, even if it is just one or two, that you can just preach out for those, some of the federation president that might actually listen to this, that might probably be on this platform, or even on our platform that will end up listening to it? What solution will you advise them to have towards this problem?
I think it's time for we need to. It's a very difficult question because in many cases it's very difficult to do things in isolation. I say it's difficult, but I don't say it's impossible. No, because right now in our time frame, if you look at Burkina Faso, politically, what Ibrahim Traore, powerful gentleman, what he's able to do without anyone's support, actually, on his own per se, in the country and the change. So I really think, though, that we need the solution is that we need to try and find delegates, maybe players, or at least players who can try to get to the. I know many players have tried in the past, and but they fail. They won't give you the vote. But I think it should start there in terms of the delegates that vote in, how they should be held accountable. But another solution, unfortunately, this solution is very difficult. I don't even imagine it is possible, but it would be nice to see it. We need African players to come together. That is simple. Need someone to come. I don't know how, but we have now forums. We need people. We need African players to come together. Top players, junior players, women players. We need to create forums where we start to talk constructively. We need to because that is where it will start. Because all this situation that is not in order, it affects us at the end of the day. So I think that will be the solution. The solution is somehow the players must find a way come together. When I say come together, I'm not talking about some big organization or whatever, but we need to find forums where we can talk.
But I'm
We
sorry.
need to find,
Yeah,
we
I'm
need
sorry
to
to cut
find,
you short, but I believe the ACC, maybe was it the last dispensation or before this new dispensation had they gave room for an African players representative, or is it players committee? There was an African players committee. I don't know. Maybe you were aware about it. I don't know anything that happened out of it anyway. But I think there was a committee like that for players.
but that committee for players is not, I don't count such things. When you have people who are corrupt to make a committee for, it's like governments. You tell we've got a committee for youngsters who can come and say their grievances. But as long as it is something that is prescribed by the corrupt, it will never, you know what I mean. The players committee must be outside of the influence of that. So the problem becomes when the players themselves want certain advantages to go to them. You know what I mean? Like they'll tell you, no, you see, the president of the players commission is going to get a free ticket, you see, and then they're gonna get a free ticket, they're gonna go to the Olympiad, and they're gonna get a single room, you know? Yeah. That is the same old trick. Understand? That is the same old trick they get you with. Once you're there, then all of a sudden they're talking to you. Oh man, look, tell these other guys, no, look, you talk too much. Here, hold here, man, hold here. Drink this. Look, we're drinking whiskey here. Have a sip. So these things are the ones. These things are the ones that stop progress. We don't need that. We don't need that. We need to talk ourselves. We need to talk. We are clever enough. We need to talk ourselves what we want. To talk to ourselves what are our problems. We need to put our grievances down. We don't like paying feeder fees. We don't like paying tournament fees. Pay accommodation, okay. Let's pay accommodation, okay. And pay accommodation, we'll find the money somewhere. But why should we pay feeder fees? To whose fees are they going? I thought we're in Africa. I thought we are the struggling country. Continent. And we pay fees. And who are they going to? Who are these fees going to? Please answer for me. If Africans are paying fees, where are these fees going to? Who are they feeding? Feeding somebody? Feeding us. Who are they feeding? They're taking from, it's crazy. It's like you're taking from the poorest to feed the rich. The fees are going to Europe. We are supporting the madness that is there in Europe. No. Why must this be? One must answer those questions. So I'm saying, no, we refuse to pay those feeder fees. Scrap them. Feeder must know we don't have the money. The support. They never did development here. They talk about development, feeder development. They never did development here. Once they did development, instead of they must leave us alone. They must just not let us pay these stupid feeder fees. I want to pay them. I don't know why I'm paying the feeder fees for. I don't know. When I play African individual, why must I pay the feeder fees to do what? To feed whom? Who is my money? Badly. Oh. These are the type of topics that we need to have as players. Understand? But this is the point, So the problem is that nothing can exist. The world does not allow a vacuum to exist. The players don't organize themselves. Don't know how. Don't tell me whom. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'm the last guy because you need me when you've organized. You need me to come and criticize what you've done. I'm a critic. I criticize without fear or favor. Understand? But there are maybe players who can organize, and I'm asking them. We have all kinds of talents. So players who can organize, they must come together. They must think. They must talk. They must talk to each other. We have we have Facebook. We have this. We have that. People must talk, and then solutions will slowly come. We must talk outside the federations. So the talk that we must talk is the one that must fix the federations. That is my view, sir.
Wow, that was deep. So, like you said, we African players, if you're listening out there, we really have to come together, get a forum, and we can talk. And of course, let's talk it out and let's start seeing where and when we can start implementing some wonderful ideas to help us as a continent. Now, this is not as an individual, but as a continent. It's going to help because if the continent can have the right plans according to Sir Kobe right now, then individually as a federation we can start making matching strides to make it to the top there. That's a very fantastic one, Sir Kobe. I really appreciate that. Okay, there is something I noticed, right? There is in Budapest, there is this wonderful young man, he's an organizer. Every Sunday there is a GM Nom event. There is all every week. I think he called it weekend. Is it first Sunday events? I can't remember how he calls it. Every weekend there is a norm event. But I can't. What?
Sorry to jump in. I'll let you ask the question, please.
Okay.
I actually played in one of those events. I played in the first Saturday. Laszlo Nyagi played. Fantastic organizer. Yes. Yeah, please go on, sir.
Yeah. So I noticed that. Now imagine you have to go all the way from South Africa all the way to Hungary to play that event. I've never heard, or I rarely hear of GM norms events in any federation in Africa. The only outright GM titled event that is always coming up on a yearly basis is the AICC. Anything outside the African individual events, there is no GM of probably. I think there was some in South Africa like a while back before they had the issue with the federation thing. We don't want to deal into that. But the point is, there are no scarcely norm events in Africa, even if someone wants to try to fight for the GM title and the rest. So, my question to you is this. What is your view on how do you think African countries can create, regional tournaments, probably mostly non-tournaments, either IM non-tournaments or GM non-tournaments, or even, bring up a training network rather than always relying solely on international structures? What do you think about that?
I've thought a lot about that. And actually, I think that it is a business model that anyone who wants to actually make a change and make money can go into. And here it is. FIDE created when during COVID something that was created which should have been a blessing for Africa. Fortunately, we never took advantage of it because we know why. I've already explained. Because our federations and federation leaders, they love traveling, especially to Europe. It's like they are bewitched. They love traveling to Europe. Those people, So the issue, they love it. I don't know why. There must be some bewitching happening there in Europe. Guys running to Europe. But the point I'm saying here is that during COVID, there was the hybrid tournament, the hybrid model. So the hybrid model is that you can organize tournaments and you organize them in different centers. Make an example, sir. Let's say in Nigeria, you organize 2 centers. Well, I don't know Nigeria in terms of the players who are there, where they are situated. But for an example, one center is in Lagos, and another center is in Abuja. I'm just making an example. That would be Nigeria. In South Africa, you also have 2 centers. In Cape Town and in Johannesburg or Pretoria. In Zimbabwe, you have 1 center. In Harare or wherever it can be, and so on, yeah, all the countries. The reason why is that what happens, why you need a center, say, is that players will go to that center to play. Center will have an arbiter. is a FIDE person who's going to be in charge there to make sure all computers are being used, no this, no that, no that. Everything is according to FIDE regulation. What you need now, imagine now you have from Nigeria, 3 players. From South Africa, 3 players. From Angola, 3 players, or whatever, right? And interesting thing now is that in the mix, you can also put in another center from outside Africa. Doesn't matter. Example, you can put from India. I say India because in my mind, I always like the model of India because in India, basically the amounts that we would be putting up as first prize in Africa would still be of interest to guys in India. Right? I'm talking about the environment. Like, let me make an example. If you said, for example, $1,500, maybe for somebody in America, it's nothing to jump up and down for. Right? Or you understand? But maybe in England also, it's not really right. It's not. But somebody in India will say, oh, okay, 1,500. Play an event for 8 days, I can invest 8 to play 8 days for $1,500. I'm in my city, I don't mind. Understand? So this is where our future is going to be. Now, FIDE, I've been checking the regulations. They don't allow for norms to happen in the hybrid. Don't worry about the norms. The norms will come later. We think about rating. We need to create this type of, that is now where but as I say, you need young players, young minds who would want to make some kind of a business out of it, because even when you are playing there, you would charge the players an entry fee. You charge the players in Nigeria an entry fee. You would charge the players in South Africa, in Angola, everywhere. But the entry fee is not going to be crazy. It's going to be an entry fee that I will pay, but this entry fee will go about to subsidize the prize fund. The prize fund, and you also have to pay maybe the arbiters something, and this, and okay, you need some sponsorship as well. But this model, I am 100% sure, is the model we should be going for. Should actually, for starters, now I've said this, for starters, let's organize. Why do we always wait for 100 years? Let's organize no rating, a friendly. Why don't we organize a friendly between players in Nigeria, players in South Africa, players in anyone else who wants to jump in? And we just simply say it's a friendly, but for every of the players, you must go to a center. That center must provide ideally, it should not be my laptop. If I use my laptop, I have my files, no, in my laptop, my chest base, my this and that, my hidden files, And if I'm a computer buffing, I may play against somebody, and even if the thing, if he moves, I may press some buttons and access it. I'm making an example. So in order for us to sidestep all of this, we say, no, whoever is organizing must just get laptops. Let's say, for example, 3 laptops or 4 laptops, doesn't matter. Say Nigeria against South Africa. It doesn't have to be Nigeria, because it might lead to federations jumping in. We know what they are. So we can say cities. Lagos against Cape Town. Lagos against Pretoria. Abuja against Pretoria. Not. And you start to play, and then but what we test out first and foremost is, because we have to test out a couple of things. Number one, the time is going to work for everybody. Number two, we test out the technology itself. How do we support and so on. So we can do that. We play some friendly games. We do this and that, and we collaborate. We collaborate. We collaborate with you. We collaborate. For example, I have a podcast, this and that, and we collaborate with a number of people so that we get it known. So that we say, no, look, this is what is happening. Everybody, our aim must be everyone in Africa must at least know that this initiative is taking place. Must be our dream. We must say, okay, everybody in Africa, everyone, and I mean everyone, is interested in chess must know that there is a match. It involves Abuja or Lagos. It involves, I don't know, Maputo. It involves Pretoria. It involves, four or whatever. Then we're not playing for any prize money. We're not playing for anything. We're just playing. We make it even, it can be rapid. It can be 30 minutes aside. We play. Arbiters standing there. We play. We're just testing it out, man. No, why must we wait? I mean, do we really want someone from Sweden to come and test it out for us? That's useless. Is it really us? I mean, really, guys? Is it really like, before we do anything in Africa, oh, it must just be someone from Sweden? Oh, well, we love Sweden. Whatever, I don't know. Ever. Just come and test it for us. Then we say, oh, wow, yeah, this is nice, It comes from a Swedish brain. Yeah, this is it. We must stop this nonsense. Understand? We must just do things ourselves. We must just, I don't know, we must just come together, do stuff. And things like this don't even require money or anything. At first, we just test out the system. Test it out. Play a friendly game. We broadcast it all over. We make a shoe bar about it. Everybody who's in chess, we let them know. We move the thing around. Everyone talks about it. Check it out. Well, there we are. Then all of a sudden, we can start to connect the dots. Understand? If we have this traction, then we can start to say, we can start to make 4 nations, 5 nations, whatever. Then afterwards, we can have data. And then say to the potential sponsor, look, how many people were watching from Nigeria? How many people were watching from Maputo? How many people were watching from Angola? How many people were watching from there? How many people watching from Senegal? We have to start somewhere. How many people watching from Kenya? How many people watching from Uganda? Bala. This is us. So we have to start somewhere. And I think if we start somewhere there, then we get our ducks in a row. So we know it. Gonna have sponsorships. Will. You are organized, you see. It beats now in the organization and eyes people watching, seeing. Everybody wants to advertise stuff, will be interested in that. People want to get into the market in Africa, they'll be interested in that. Say, okay, let's do this, let's do that, let's do that.
That's so deep. That's really so deep. And now I'm actually seeing a very interesting picture regarding that now collaboration using the cheapest means, which is the online platform that we can achieve a lot right now. That's very rich and deep from you. We're gonna calm down a little bit because you like I'm looking at the time and I'm enjoying the flow. I wish we can be here for the next 4 or 5 hours. But we are going to turn it down a little bit. Yes. You have played and coached at the highest levels that I can only dream about it. Can you tell us about a particular memorable match or tournament that taught you a lasting lesson?
Man, there's been a lot, but I think me in terms of as a coach, as a player, okay, there are many ones that I can think of, but I think as a coach, it was when I was coaching Botswana at the Bled Olympiad. This was in Slovenia, 2002. If I have my dates right, and me, it was, because we got into a structured program. We got into some structure. At first, we were struggling. I was staying in in Botswana for like many months, coaching the players, men and women's team. And at first we struggled to get into a stride, into like everybody is there, first and foremost. Everyone is attending. Everyone knows what they are doing. Everyone is to do A, B, C, this, that, some structure. And at first we struggled to get into a stride, into some structure. But believe you me, we did manage to do that. And one of the powerhouses in African chess generally is Zambia. Zambia is one of the powerhouses in African chess. Yeah, we cannot. No one can deny that. You can argue this one is stronger, this country is stronger. It doesn't matter, but they are a powerhouse for sure. So actually Botswana managed to beat Zambia. They beat Zambia, and Amon Simutowe, who's a grandmaster, was there. As a member of that team. We managed to defeat a talented Zambia. We managed to defeat them not because the individual players of Zambia were more talented. The reason why I'm saying I'm making this example, we beat them discipline, organization. We were sorting things out. Without giving too much, but we're sorting out what we wanted to do, the method before the game, what we're doing. Everything there was some order, a lot of order putting in. We managed to beat them. What I'm trying to say is that I will also touch on the second thing I want to mention. I went to India the first time in 1996, yes. 1996, around there, yes, 96. I went to India, it was the Commonwealth Championship. And when I went to India in 96, India had grandmasters. Jonathan Anand, who was not playing in India, of course, he was playing outside, he was very strong. Dipientu Barua was like 25-60. And Thipse, I think Bravin, first, I'm not sure, but I don't remember his first name, but it's Thipse. These three gentlemen were grandmasters. And in the opening ceremony, they said, and by the way, the three grandmasters, remember, the other two were on their older side, the other two. So they then said, no, we are planning, and they were dead serious. They said, we are planning to have 100 grandmasters. Said this in 96. 100 grandmasters. A country that has three. I was like, I was thinking to myself. I said, hey, this guy is completely mad. And that is the reaction that you must get as a big dreamer. Is the reaction. Somebody does not say you are mad. You are not dreaming. Right way. Today they are on their 86th grandmaster. To reach 100 running. They were right. So for me, if I put this together, organization is the most important thing. It beats talent. Organization is you saying to yourself, and we don't have it in Africa. When I say this, I'm not talking only at federation level. I'm talking about our players. I'm talking now as a player. Look at our players, how they play. There is no organization at all. I'll tell you, one of the most talented Nigerian players, a certain gentleman, a good friend of mine, I met in many tournaments and so on, Odion Koje, brilliant, multi-talented player. Zero organization. Zero. What Odion has played his whole life, white. E4, HF3, Bishop F4. That's it.
As the London opening. London opening. He's always playing the London.
Only forever. London forever. Nothing wrong with the London, but the problem is that it limits you in terms, it limits your range as a player. It limits your range, it limits what you can do. So the organizational side of things is that if you want to be a chess player, you have to organize yourself. You have to say, okay, I'm going to first and foremost train for so many hours a day. But two, make sure I do this, and that. Blitz, we all love blitz, but blitz is one big waste of time. It is. It's one big waste of time. Don't tell Africans about blitz. Africans will play blitz from morning to evening without eating anything. I know them all over, from Cape to Cairo. we need, yes, but we need to be more organized. You need to say, okay, I'll play blitz 1 hour. But most of the hour I must do in organizing my chess. I must do end games. I must do this. I must do that. I must organize and make plans. To see myself in 2 years, I must have reached this. In 4 years, and that is organization. We need to organize. We need to organize on a private level. We are maybe, I'm telling you, Africans we are the most brilliant people, the most imaginative people. The problem is that we are completely disorganized. We need to organize ourselves. We need to have organization. With organization, you can do anything. So those are the two examples I that came to mind.
Wow, thank you very much. That's so insightful. Organization. Actually, coming to think about it myself, I'm actually seeing because I had to look at myself, deep reflection from the organization point of view. I think my organization skill is probably the way you said it. I'll give myself probably 30/100. So right after this talk, I'm going to increase it to 100%. That's personally. It's a very good one. That's a very good one. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. And the good news is most of the questions I have for you, you've already answered them, even in some of the from other questions I've already asked. So that's why I won't be repeating myself in most of the questions. You're almost done. And right now, if I'm going to ask it's this. If you have one message to young African chess players who are aspiring for greatness, what would it be? Of course, I'm already thinking organization, but I still wanted to say it.
I think for the young African player who wants to be a chess champion, it's important to know that you must understand that nobody understands the world at the moment. Chess. The world of chess has completely changed. There used to be power centers. Okay, of course, Russia as a power center. They don't even have a play in the top 10. Europe used to be the place to go to play chess. Now you have tournaments in India, back to back to back to back to back, for example. But all in all, what I'm trying to say is that if you want to be a very good chess player, you should not be stuck in the past, nor be shackled by the present in thinking that I'm in Nigeria, I'm in Abuja, I want to be good, I cannot. No. You can be good if you use, the internet, so powerful. Along there, it may not be the way, but you can really train. You can use tools that are there, the important tools that you can use. You can measure your strength against other players. Of course, what you have to use in on the internet is blitz, because no one is going to play longer. In blitz, you can use blitz as a good training method to see, at least for your openings, for your tactics, for your transitions. You can use blitz, but you must not just play just to win, but you can use it as a that I call it, as a measure. You can say, look, this is my rating now. My rating in Blitz on Lichess or chess.com, 1900, make an example. If I'm going to go away from Lichess, I'm going to use all the tools and this and studies and everything and studies that people post, and I'm going to learn. I'm going to learn everything about chess. I'll do this for 3 months. I'll play with my friends outside, but for 3 months, I won't do any Lichess playing. I'm going to train for 3 months. Openings, my this, my that, my that. And then I go back chess and I play again. I say, well, what is the growth? Let's be scientific. Then you say, okay, well, no, wow, I gained 300 points. You know? So, so what I'm trying to say is that even you are able to move forward. I think as a young player, you need to. Lucky enough, we've been playing chess, from all the countries. Ask players who have experience, what do you think? What should I sharpen in order to be a good player? What do I need? I know I need openings. I know I need tactics. What else do I need? And where should I go? And they will point you in the right direction. Just point you. You know, you can go there and you can work on your own. So for a young player, a African player, the world is your oyster. You have the means to. Chess is all about strength. It's not about rating. It's not about title. It's about strength. Prove your strength. Once you've got strength, any opportunity that you get, you'll be ready. You know.
Wow. So thank you very much. That's young players out there. First things first. I think I've been mentioning myself personally. Strength is most important. Once you get your strength, your rating will come and meet you wherever you are. That's I've also been advocating for that. And there is okay. Before we go, because I still have some little questions I'm going to ask you. I'm so sorry for eating a little bit out of your time, but there is something that has been happening, right? You see, in Africa, almost every chess player is a coach. Almost. I have a coach. His rating will be 1,400, and he's still saying he's a coach. I have a coach. His rating is 1,800, and he's going to be telling you the annoying thing is, or let me say, maybe the surprising thing there is a 1,800 rated player that's been playing chess often and often is guaranteeing a player that he can take whoever he is to 2,400 strength. So I'm wondering, you are 1.8, you want to take a player that is just starting or probably 1.5, you want to take that player to 2,400 strength. Now, probably, maybe I'm the one having a problem with the definition of who is a coach and who is a trainer. I don't know, maybe you can help us explain that difference. Who is a coach, who is a trainer? Because a coach, maybe if you say a coach is 1,800, I can agree, and can take a player to 2,400 strength. I don't think so, but maybe from your experience, can you please shed light on that? Who is a coach, who is a trainer, especially in chess?
Um, very nice question. But I've never thought of the definition.
Good.
I've never thought of the definition of a coach and trainer. I think in many cases they will overlap to what they can do. I do believe that somebody who is 1,800 and use a 2,400 player possible. Here it comes. Believe that if you are a student who's going to pay money, uh, you are risking what if you go to such a player or such a coach or train. No, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying that coach or trainer has to improve themselves. They have to read material. They have to look at Soviet school of chess. There is material available. They must look at the Chinese school of chess that is available. They must look at the how the Cubans make it. The documents are there. The Cubans. I am Vega was, for example, explaining how the Cubans were producing strong players, and then we look at the Indian model. You look at players. You look at Voretsky coach. You look at Ramesh now Indian. I think that if you do a lot of research and you possibly can. You possibly can have this. It's very rare, but you can have it. So I'm not counting. Not. I'm not saying it's never can happen. I'm saying it's possible. But in my experience, players who have played, there are different levels. You know, you find that maybe so for somebody to teach in a school, people how to teach, there will be a player, maybe it's 1400, but maybe he's very good at that level.
Yeah.
No. And I think there are different levels. And I think that, it's going to be very difficult. And I'm going to say Nigeria because, we have, in the Nigerian forum. If somebody has not played for Nigeria, like at the Olympiad, in international events, it's going to be very difficult for us to trust them fully, right? Because they haven't gone out there. They don't know the level of preparation that is needed. No, they've never. You're right. They've never crossed swords with this level. No? So for me, I definitely think that um, there are different levels, and we should, in the Soviet Union, when you read about the Soviet Union, they had different levels. There were coaches who were taking players from this level to that level, and this coach would contact the other coach and say, "I've got 4 or 5 very promising students. Can I bring them over to you?" So I think the coaches should collaborate, But when it comes to the highest level, when you are trying to prepare someone leaving Nigeria and going internationally, I think we need to tap into the knowledge of the people who have done that. In all honesty.
Wow, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now here goes to the quick fire segment before if we have anybody in your house to give you ask any question. Very first one as fast as you can. Who is the toughest opponent you have ever faced?
Anatoly Karpov.
Oh, world champion. We would love to hear the story about that, but not today, maybe some other time. What is your favorite chess book or resource? Your favorite chess book or resource? Which one is your favorite?
Favorite book will have to be many, but System by names of which very nice book. My System.
Yep, my system. I think I read it as well. Okay, let's quickly go on. Which one chess game would you wish everyone should study?
Wow. I would say Novsky against Rubinstein, first part 1907.
Wow, 1907. That's that's that's
Part.
that's an interesting one. I'll have to go check that one out. um,
It's a complete game.
Spassky Rubinstein.
Janowski plays white and Rubinstein plays black.
Okay.
First part.
Okay. Finally, if you would play a match anywhere in Africa, where would it be and why?
Ah. This is a very okay. This is man. That's a difficult question. Keep asking me difficult questions. No, actually, I have played in Cairo before. Played in Cairo, but very interesting. I played in Cairo before I studied history of Egypt and Kemet. There's one place I would love to play us in, be Cairo. Uh, with thoughts about Kemet. Let me put it that way.
Ah, nice, nice. That's interesting. Thank you very much, International Master Watu Kobese. Today has been so enlightening. We gained a lot from you, lots of insight. And I'm going to throw it to the house there. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. This program is brought to you by Broth Chess Media. Thanks to FIDE Master Fawoli John Oyeyemi. Thank you very much for making this opportunity happen. We really appreciate it. If you have questions in the audience, now it's time to ask. Can you please just drop them in the chat? And I'm going to ask our wonderful I am as fast as possible. Let me show the chat right now and see just probably three questions, and we would disappear as soon as possible. Yes. Yeah. Okay, GM Fawalizo just typed something in the chat to me. Said Grandmaster Niger Short is helping establish chess federations in Africa based on his position as a FIDE vice president. Now, why can't someone in Africa do the same? Why must it be Grandmaster Niger Short coming all the way to Africa to, create federations? Why can't we have our ACC president? Why can't we have, we have a VP also from FIDE in Nigeria? Why can't they be the one to do that same job? I think Mauritania just got involved recently. I saw the post where Niger Short was taking pictures with the Mauritanian Federation. Is there a reason why it has to be them than us? Maybe you have an insight into that.
I do. I do. Fortunately, the answer is one that we will not like to hear. The problem, and we should understand, whenever, if nothing against Nigel Short, I've conversed with him. I consider him as someone who's my friend, very nice guy and so on. But if you are going to want an outsider to solve your problems, always going to have problems. That is not only in chess, that is in any other thing. We have to humble ourselves on this regard. The problem is that we don't respect each other. The problem. When you come with a something, I'll say, it's that gentleman from Nigeria. We are so quick to dismiss. It comes to us, very quick to dismiss. And yet we never scrutinize anything coming from outside. Never, never. You will never even hear us, even in a beer hall, drunkards talking. You'll never say, did you hear that guy from Sweden coming there with that nonsense? Not never. It's only nonsense when it is from us. When it is from outside, it is in our minds. It is correct. This is the problem.
Wow. Wow. That's a deep one. Thank you very much. Any other questions in there? Before anybody should type his question, I'm going to ask our wonderful IM a one simple question. Sir, do you accept? Do you do free training camps for juniors, or is it paid? Whatever it is, I would like you to tell us so that if any African that's listening who wants to probably join your training camp for at one point or the other, they should know the terms and conditions that are being involved, or we should just have a number to contact you directly. We just paste it to the public at any point in time.
Say, I'm so happy you asked this question. I've conducted. I do coaching because I have a family. My family will leave me if I do everything for free. Of course, but I have done so many free. I'm going to do like this: free lessons to individuals and groups. However, always a price to pay. That price has been too high. No one is paying the price. The price is very simple. If I'm to help you and coach you, especially for free, you have to work very hard. If I give you things to do, homework and this, you must do that and more. You must impress me. You must say, I looked at this game you talked about. I went and looked at 50 of these guys' games. And do you understand what I'm trying to say? The type of payment I want for offering a service for free. Because then if I have something like this is the payment I want. I will say, wow, here's more, here's more, here's more. For example, I'm telling you, all the time, that is always my price. I always ask groups when I'm helping, I say work. After a while, they don't work, they run. Yeah, people run away from free lessons. So for me, I will say this: if you can organize a group in Nigeria, youngsters who are keen and so on, I'd love that. I'd love to let's share knowledge. I'd work with them. I'll work with them for free. See how, because I will, do this, give them show direction, give them things to work with, then meet again, and this and that. This is lovely. This is lovely. I love doing this. Of course, you cannot just say, I'm going to get free lessons and I'm just going to turn up, on the day. And I say, did you look at this and that? No, I didn't look at that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I give free lessons because, I got a scholarship in 1990 and I went to Germany and I studied in a chess school in Germany from 1990 to 1993 and it was free. Best things in life are free, yes, because when you pay, it's very interesting. When you pay, because you've paid, don't expect me to expect anything from you. And I don't expect anything from you because you paid. Understand? So I like the free ones because when it's free, you gotta sit and work. That's the difference.
Wow, that's also a very good one. I believe Nigeria is actually working towards, gathering some youngsters with our own based IMs already that are strong enough, and I'm so sure they will extend some collaborations to, other African, strong players. I'm so sure with this right now. I believe one person in the federation will be able to reach out to you, to collaborate with the other international masters down in Nigeria in, packaging some kind of, classes or, seminars for the upcoming ones to just help them. That it's good to hear that from you. Thank you very much, Sawatu. You are a gem in the African. In fact, you are a gem to your generation and you are a gem to we upcoming generations as well. Thank you very much. Really, really, God bless you. And so far so good. There have not been any questions coming. There is only one Mr. Blah that has been typing for the past probably 3 minutes. I'm hoping he's not typing 700 words because I'm so sure by the time he finishes typing, we would have left this program because it's almost done already. And I'm gonna bring Sir Fawole John Oyemi on stage because I actually need him here to say one or two things. Where is he? Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring him up here to speak. Safawale, thank you very much. Okay. Okay. Okay, somebody just asked a question before Fawali says anything. He said, what is the most important step to encourage collaboration in African chess? This was typed by Prince Ikena. So you can answer that, please. Thank you.
What is the most important?
The important first step to encourage collaboration in African chess. Yeah.
I think the first step is somebody willing to do this. I won't say work, but I just say linking. You need someone to be able to link because you'll be talking to maybe three different people, and so the first step is we need to have someone who's prepared to be a link and say, well, what time suits you? What do you think? What time suits you? What? And then get back and say, okay, we are thinking about July the 19th at 4 o'clock, blah, 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 for a Zoom or whatever, get together, That's the first step we need. We just need someone who has an idea of what they want to achieve. Like, for example, I think in African chess, there are a number of things we can think about. Number one, organization. Someone saying we want to organize hybrid tournaments, example, right? That is the topic. Number two, training. Someone saying we as top players, we want to organize camps for top players to top players, where we can talk, we can share, and we can play training games, and we can make each other strong. We can share ideas. Then there's a level of coaches where someone can say, as coaches, what can we do? Then there's a level of, so there are many different levels. I don't think there is one particular level that one can focus on. I think we need to start somewhere, and we need to collaborate. We need to talk up on all levels. And once we can do that, then I really believe we will just simply move forward.
Yeah, thank you very much about that. And before Fawali should speak, I'm going to give a special shout out to these wonderful individuals, to the reigning national champion in Nigeria. He's a teenager. The young stars are coming. He's a teenager in person of Ferdinand Tessie. Thank you very much for joining us on the show. And a wonderful round of applause to Triple A. FIDE Master Abdurrahman Abdurrahim, one of the most hardworking chess players I've ever known in Nigerian chess scene. Thank you very much for joining this stream. And to Callistos Eyentongon, FIDE Master Callistos, thank you very much. And to the welfare officer for the Chess Players Association of Nigeria, we see you, Mother Cassandra. Thank you very much. God bless you. And if I did not mention your name, trust me, you are wonderful. And so, FIDE Master Fawali John Oyemi, who brought us all together here, and this will be the last message from you, and we'll call it quits. So, FIDE Master John, how you doing? One or two words before we close the curtain.
All right, yeah. So thank you very much, Chief Wills, and thank you to I am Watu Kobese. I really enjoyed this session, and I think we should have more of this. So my takeaway from this is that we need to collaborate. We need to work together. We need to have this kind of synergy where we're ready to improve African chess, and we should do anything we can in our powers to get it done. So I really appreciate the conversation. I really appreciate you for turning up and trying to do this for us. And we'll continue the collaboration. I'll still reach out to you. We'll still bring you back again sometimes, because I believe that we can gain a lot from your experience, And thank you very much once again. Thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. Any words, any last words, Sir Hayem? Do you want to say anything before we just close the curtain finally?
I'd like to say thank you for inviting me to the forum. Thank you. And anytime, we can share and so on, I'm more than happy to contribute to anything that anyone. I don't really think I've got anything special to contribute, but if anyone believes that I could contribute something, I'm more than happy to do so.
Thank you very much. I can guarantee you for free, I will say this at the bottom of my heart, you have been contributing, because I will tell you, I actually listened to the story between when you went for, there was a tournament you went for, and you were in the midst of Victor Koshnoi. Was it Victor Koshnoi? Yes, Victor Koshnoi. In a room, you were talking about some opening lines, and I heard the story. It was very, very fun. What you learned in the midst of those top players. For you to know, I follow your stories on YouTube once in a while. You learned a lot in just one gathering, and you were even asking for pointers. Yeah, I think you were saying, was it? No. Was it Koshnoi? No. It wasn't Koshnoi. It was the grandmaster that was crying recently. That cried when he lost a game to a junior. Who can help me out with that name? Ivanchuk. Yes, it was a Grandmaster Ivanchuk. I remember you saying you were talking with the second, and you entered the room. He gave you some insight, and you went, guns blazing into the next tournament, and you won. I think you were part of the prize winners at the top board there. So that confidence, with all these people. I follow you. So trust me, you are a gem. We'll learn from you, and I'm sure you have more that you have not been opportune to dish out. We are coming to get those from you. Don't worry. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the show. My name is Oyile Olawale, popularly known as Chief Wales, and this is International Master Watu Kobese, talking about African chess and the power of collaboration. Please tell your federation presidents or wherever they are, they should stop traveling for goodies at the FIDE level. They should bring in the real stuff to FIDE that's going to affect all the players in the whole, in their own constituency or their own federation. Okay, bye for now. A wonderful thank you to Bruv Chess Media for Olizo for making this happen. Till next time, we remain sincerely yours. One more thing, a special shout out to the Vice President of Chess Players Association of Nigeria, a person of Candidate Master Atabo Job. Thank you very much for joining in, and see you next time. Bye for now. Cheers.